Today we'll be looking at suffixes. Suffixes is also called inflectional ending. An inflectional ending is a word that is added to the end of a base word that changes the number or tense of a base word. A base word can stand alone and as meaning, for example, cat, bench, eat. In other words, inflectional ending is a process of word formation. A word is modified to express different grammatical categories such as tense, case, voice, action, event, persons, number, gender, and other definitives. Inflectional ending also changing pitch or loudness of the voice. So, as was stated earlier, inflectional endings are words that added to the end of a base word that changes the number or tense of that base word. Ed and ing are inflectional endings that are added to the base word to make a new verb tenses. So rule 1. Base word that end with a consonant and a silent E. You should drop the final E before adding the ed or ing. Example, the verb bake. Drop the silent E from the verb bake and add ing. So it is spelled baking. When the ed is added, it is spelled baked. Rule 2. When a short vowel is followed by one consonant at the end of a word, double the final consonant before adding an ed or ing. Example, the verb hop. You would have to double the final consonant, which is P, and it is spelled hopping. When the ed is added, you also double the final consonant, and it is spelled hopped. Rule 3. When a short vowel is followed by two or more consonants, the last consonant is not doubled. Example, in the verb wash, wash, you had ing and it became washing, washing, or washed when the ed is added. Rule 4. When a y is the only vowel in a word, change the y to an I before adding the ed ending. Example, the verb cry. When the ed is added, it is spelled cried. After a long vowel sound, do not double the consonant before adding the ed or ing. Example, in the word soil, where you hear the long O. When the ing is added, it is spelled soiling. When the ed is added, it is spelled soiled. So after a long vowel sound, do not double the consonant before adding the ed or ing ending. Examples of inflectional ending: s, es, ies, ing, and ed. S and es and ies change a noun from a singular one to a plural. For example, cats and benches. So you can see where the what? The S and the es is added to the noun to make it plural. ing and ed change the verb tense. Example: eat, eating; walk, walked. So we are going to go in depth with the 3 sound of the ed. A voice sound means that the vocal cords vibrate, and voiceless, they do not vibrate. So rule 1: if the verb base ends in a voiceless sound, the ed ending sound like T. If the verb base ends in a voiceless sound, the ed ending sounds like T. Voiceless consonants are P, F, K, S, SH, CH, and TH. A past tense verb, the T is blended with the previous consonant and not pronounced as an extra syllable. So examples of past tense verb that has the T sound. When the ed is added, it has the T sound at the end. Examples are kissed, liked, stopped, walked, worked, dropped, finished, divorced, laughed, coughed. Rule 2: if the verb base ends in a voice sound, then the ed ending sound like D. Voice consonants are B, V, G, Z, J, TH, L, M, N, R. So rule 2: if the verb base ends in a voice sound, then the ed ending sound like D. The D is blended together with the previous consonant and not pronounced as an extra syllable. Examples of verb that, when the ed is added, pronounced as D are reigned, moved, returned, stayed, studied, married, widowed, raised, engaged, traveled. So rule 2: if the verb base ends in a voice sound, then the ed ending sound like D, as in reigned. Rule 3, this is the most used one. If the verb base ends in a T or D sound already, then the ed ending sound like id or ed, and it is pronounced as an extra syllable. So if the verb base ends in a T or D at the end, then the ed sound like ed or id. Examples are counted, as you hear the T in the word counted, counted, started, graduated, visited, separated, dated, attended. So these are examples of the verb ed, past tense verb ed. So example: walked. Walked has what type of sound? It has a T sound. Reigned has a D sound. Started has an ed sound. So there are 3 pronunciations of the ed sound: T, D, and ed. Traveled, dated, moved, visited, kissed, counted, raised, laughed, watched.